Sometimes you don't realize how good you have it until you demand something better and watch it all crumble in the most public way possible. Anyway, make sure to hit that like button if you enjoy my stories, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. Look, I need to tell you about what happened with my engagement because everyone's acting like I'm this terrible person, but they don't understand the whole story. My name's Callie. I'm 32, and 6 months ago, I thought I was getting the proposal of my dreams. Instead, I got what Neil probably considered romantic, but was actually just basic. Picture this, we've been together 4 years, living together for 2, and Neil finally decides to propose. Where does he take me? The same vineyard where we had our first date. I mean, come on. He scattered some flowers around, my favorite, sure, and had some photographer hiding in the bushes like we're wildlife or something. The ring was nice, I'll give him that. 3 months of his salary, which sounds impressive until you realize what he actually makes in his little office job. But here's what really gets me. Neil thought he was being so thoughtful with the sunset timing and the sentimental location. The truth is, it felt like he put in the bare minimum effort and expected me to be grateful. I said yes because I love him, obviously, but the whole time I'm thinking, this is it. This is my proposal story. I posted it everywhere because that's what you do, right? All our friends and family started congratulating us, and I smiled and played the happy fiancé. But inside, I kept thinking about how underwhelming it all felt. Neil's not exactly the most creative guy. He's methodical, practical, the type who thinks romance means remembering to pick up milk without being asked. Sweet maybe, but hardly the stuff dreams are made of. The real wake-up call came a few weeks later when we were out to dinner with my friend Kara and some others. Kara starts going on and on about how her boyfriend proposed at the Eiffel Tower with a flash mob. A freaking flash mob in Paris. Then she shows us the video, and I'm watching these strangers dancing while this guy gets down on one knee in front of the most romantic landmark in the world. I got quiet real fast. Here I am with my vineyard story while Kara's got something that belongs in a movie. She's already posted it on every platform, and it's gotten thousands of likes. Meanwhile, my proposal photos look like something from a small town bridal magazine. On the drive home, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I've been thinking about something. I told Neil, watching him grip the steering wheel in that way he does when he's trying to stay calm. Your proposal wasn't really that special. He actually pulled over. What do you mean? I mean, a vineyard, Neil, that's so basic. Kara's boyfriend took her to Paris. Harper's ex shut down Times Square for her. Even my sister got a hot air balloon proposal. I could see him processing this, probably trying to figure out what he did wrong. But you said it was perfect. You cried. You said yes. Here's where I had to be real with him. I said yes because I love you, but I need you to do it again properly this time. Something that shows you really value me. The look on his face was priceless, like I just asked him to solve world hunger. You want me to propose again? We're already engaged. I slipped off the ring and held it out to him. Not really. Not until you do it right. I deserve a proposal story I'm proud to tell. Neil just stared at that ring like it was going to bite him. Are you seriously holding our engagement hostage over this? Don't be dramatic. I just want what every woman wants, to feel special. Is that too much to ask? Between us, watching him take that ring back was almost satisfying. Finally, he was understanding that I wasn't going to settle for his half-hearted attempts at romance. This was his grandmother's ring, the one he had reset specifically for me, and if he wanted me to wear it, he was going to have to earn it properly. You know what he said quietly, which should have been my first warning. Neil never gets quiet unless he's really thinking. You're right. You deserve better. I smiled and patted his hand. I knew you'd understand. Maybe somewhere tropical, or you could rent out a stadium. I'll let you figure it out. He actually kissed my cheek after that, which I took as a good sign. I'll make it soon, he promised. That night I was on Pinterest until like 2 a.m, creating boards full of proposal ideas, skywriting flash mobs, surprise concerts. I sent Neil the best one so he'd have plenty of inspiration. I mean, I wasn't trying to be difficult. I just wanted him to put in some actual effort for once. The next morning, I was practically glowing. I'd already called my mom and Harper to tell them Neil was planning something spectacular for the re-proposal. Mom wants to know if she should fly in for it. I told Neil over breakfast. Tell her to wait, he said, not even looking up from his coffee. I want it to be a surprise. See, this was more like it. Neil being mysterious, actually planning something instead of just winging it like he usually does. Over the next few days, he kept dropping these little hints that something big was coming. He'd disappear for hours, claiming he had errands to run. I caught him on the phone a few times, but he'd always hang up when I came in the room. I started getting really excited. I showed him videos of guys proposing with skywriting articles about hiring orchestras, even this one where someone carved their proposal into a corn maze. Just making sure you have inspiration, I'd tell him and he'd nod like he was taking mental notes. Meanwhile, I was already planning my outfit for whatever he had in store. I figured if he was finally going to do this right, I needed to look amazing for all the photos and videos that would definitely be taken. I even practiced my surprised face in the mirror a few times, not too shocked, but definitely touched and emotional. The anticipation was killing me. Every day I'd wonder if this was the day, if Neil had finally figured out how to make me feel truly special. I started carrying better makeup in my purse just in case he surprised me at work or something. By Friday night, I was practically vibrating with excitement. My coworker mentioned she'd seen Neil at the jewelry store, which made me squeal right there in the office. "Are you getting an even bigger ring?" I asked him that night, but he just smiled mysteriously. "Just handling some business." Then my mom called to tell me Neil had asked for her blessing again, which was so sweet and unnecessary since he already had it. But it showed he was really taking this seriously this time. Saturday night, I could barely sleep. I kept thinking about all the possibilities. Was he taking me somewhere exotic? Had he planned some elaborate surprise? I'd been dropping hints about wanting something Instagram worthy, something that would make all my friends jealous instead of the other way around. I just have this feeling tomorrow's the day. I told Neil as we were getting ready for bed, "You've been so secretive lately." "Just get some sleep," he said. "Tomorrow's going to be memorable." Sunday morning, I was up at 6 doing my full makeup routine and curling my hair. I put on my best dress, the one that photographs really well, and made sure my nails looked perfect. "I'm ready for whatever you have planned," I announced when Neil came downstairs. "Actually, I need to run to the office real quick. Forgot something important." My heart sank. "On a Sunday, but I thought, why don't you go have brunch with Kara? I'll meet you after." I wanted to scream. Here I was all dressed up and ready for my moment, and Neil was talking about office errands and brunch plans. "This better not mean you're postponing," I told him, trying to keep the irritation out of my voice. "Trust me, everything is happening exactly as planned." So I left the house at 8, taking my usual route downtown to meet Kara. I was frustrated, but trying to stay positive. Maybe Neil was just throwing me off the scent, making sure I wouldn't suspect anything. My phone rang at 8:07. It was Neil. "What the hell is this?" I could hear car horns honking behind me, and I was starting to panic. "What's wrong, babe?" The giant billboard on Route 9. I looked up and nearly crashed my car. There it was, massive and impossible to miss, my face blown up 20 feet tall with the words, "Callie thinks your proposal wasn't good enough," and my Instagram handle right underneath. "What billboard?" Neil asked, like he couldn't hear me hyperventilating. "The one with my face on it. The one that says I couldn't even finish the sentence. Everyone driving to work this morning was going to see this. My coworkers, my family, random strangers." "Oh, that billboard?" "Neil, there's another one." I was driving faster now, desperate to get past them, but the second billboard was even worse. It had screenshots of my text messages, the ones where I told Kara that Neil's proposal was basically poverty level and that I was training him to do better. "Take them down right now." "Can't. They're paid for a month in advance, non-refundable." I was sobbing at this point, my perfect makeup running down my face. "How could you do this to me?" "The same way you could hand back my grandmother's ring and demand I perform like a trained seal for your Instagram followers." That's when I saw the third billboard, and the fourth. By the time I reached downtown, I'd seen 4 massive displays of my most embarrassing moments, complete with screenshots and my social media information. The final one was simple but devastating. "Neil is now single and accepting applications. No proposals necessary." "You're donating my ring," I screamed into the phone. "My grandmother's ring, which you returned so thoughtfully. The Children's Hospital is very grateful for the donation." "I'm keeping the ring." "Actually, you're not. Check your purse." I pulled over and dumped everything out of my bag. The ring box was there, but when I opened it, the diamond looked different, smaller somehow. "Last night, while you were in the shower planning your proposal playlist, replaced it with cubic zirconia. Figured you couldn't tell the difference between real and fake anyway." The phone call started immediately. Kara first screaming about how I was a monster and hyperventilating in some restaurant, then Harper, then my mom. But the weirdest call was from Neil's dad, who I barely knew. Son, I saw everything online. I'm ashamed of how my daughter turned out, but you did what I should have done years ago. My Instagram went from 5,000 followers to 50,000 in 3 hours, but not the kind of attention I'd wanted. The comments were brutal. Gold digger got exposed. This is what entitlement looks like. Imagine being this ungrateful. I tried damage control posting that it was all a misunderstanding and that Neil was emotionally abusive for publicly humiliating me. But then someone found my Pinterest board titled Make Him Propose Right with articles about training your man and why women deserve multiple proposals. Game over. The next few days were chaos. My workplace got calls about the billboards with people claiming they created a hostile work environment. My manager actually laughed when he talked to me about it, saying his wife wanted to know if Neil was really taking applications. I hired a lawyer, but that backfired too. Neil's friend who handled it sent back this response about how truth is a defense against defamation and how I'd publicly returned the ring to multiple witnesses. No damages would be paid. That's when I decided to take control of the narrative. I showed up at Neil's apartment with a camera crew. I was going to make content out of this whole mess, turn it into something that could actually benefit me. I'm a content creator, Neil. This is content. But the cameraman was already backing away when Neil started recording me with his own phone. You're trespassing. Leave now or I call the cops. The police showed up just as I was trying to get into what used to be my home, too. I told them Neil had stolen my engagement ring, but he had all the receipts, the texts where I returned it, the billboard contracts, even the donation receipt to the children's hospital. Ma'am, you need to leave now, the older officer said, like I was some kind of criminal. As they walked me to my car, I screamed back at Neil, you'll regret this, I'll make you famous. Already did that myself, thanks. The billboards stayed up for weeks. Local news picked up the story. Man uses billboards to unpropose after fiancé demands redo went viral, and I got interview requests that I was too humiliated to accept. My job became impossible. Clients had seen the billboards and the social media storm. My position consulting for luxury brands was compromised by my very public display of greed. They didn't fire me, but they moved me to a junior position with half the salary. Then Kara went public with her own story about how I'd made her feel horrible about her engagement, how I'd created a spreadsheet ranking all our friends' proposals and rings. When that leaked showing how I'd calculated return on investment for each relationship and listed Neil as high potential needs work, it was over. The aftermath hit me harder than I expected. I had to move back in with my parents because I couldn't afford my lifestyle anymore. Neil moved on and seemed genuinely happy while I was stuck scrolling through job listings and dealing with my mom's disappointed sighs. I even tried sending Neil a formal application to date me again, a real letter with my qualifications and lessons learned. His lawyer friend framed it and called it Exhibit A in delusional thinking. It's been 8 months now since those billboards came down. I moved to Dallas to start over working retail and trying to rebuild my life. My Instagram is permanently gone after the spreadsheet incident, and my parents still send Neil thank you cards. The Children's Hospital sent me photos of the new playroom with my grandmother's name on a little plaque. That felt like salt in the wound, but I guess it's better than the ring sitting in some drawer. Look, maybe I went about things the wrong way. Maybe I should have been more grateful for what Neil did instead of comparing it to everyone else's relationships. But the truth is, I still think I deserve better than a basic vineyard proposal. I just wish I'd found a way to get it without destroying everything in the process. Neil's probably out there right now living his best life while I'm starting over in a new city, working jobs I'm overqualified for just to pay rent. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd just kept the ring and been happy with what I had. But then I remember how small and ordinary that proposal made me feel, and I think maybe this is just how things were always going to end up. Maybe some people are meant for fairy tale endings and others are meant to learn the hard way that you can't always get what you want no matter how much you think you deserve it.